Hi, and welcome to this week's update of MakeTile. So today I've got a new tile type to show you, or possibly 5 new tile types, or 10, depending on how you count them. Anyway, so new tile type is connecting columns. So these allow you to connect different walls together, like this. So here we've got 3 straight walls, and in the middle, we've got a connecting column, which is a T shape. And yeah, this allows us to connect 3 walls together. And this is kind of the last of the absolute, basic pieces, tile types that was missing from MakeTile. So having this in should allow you to create, really, really complicated layouts. So the connecting column tile type up here is accessible in the usual way, but it's a bit more complicated than the others because there are actually 5 different types of column you can make. 6 different types, I suppose. Anyway, so the 5 different types here are I columns, L columns, O columns, T columns, and X columns, and they use the open lock sort of convention for naming. So the I columns, which end am I? The I columns over here are ones which the sockets go straight through, so you can connect 2 walls up in a straight line. The L columns, you can connect 2 walls together in an L shape. The O columns, not sure why they called them O columns, but they did, allow you to basically cap an end wall. And then we have the T columns, which I just showed you, which allow you to connect 3 walls together, and the X columns, which allow you to connect 4 walls together. So that's really useful, and you can select which type you want here before you hit MakeTile. As you'll notice, there's also sort of 2 different types of each column, and this is selected here with the socket style. So you can either have textured, which are these ones, or flat, which are these ones. And so if I just make this one, or make these 2 3D, incidentally, my neighbours are having their bathroom redone. So if you hear drilling or banging or swearing in the background, that's what it is. Sorry about that, but yeah. Right, so we have these 2 different styles of sockets. So if you want to do something like this, which is, a rough stone block, then using the textured version will allow you to have a texture which wraps around all the way. But if you are doing something, say, with, bricks or a sci-fi texture or something, and you want your sockets to, be nice and neat, your texture to be nice and neat, then you might want to use this one instead. The other useful thing about this type of socket, this textured socket, is if we bump up our column size to 1, looks like I didn't hook that one up properly, and just make an I column. Then, if you want, you can have a nice sort of big column which will look good, and you can, join your walls together or whatever. It just gives you a different style, whereas that doesn't really work if it's flat like this. So just like with the other tiles, you can, change the size, change the width, change the depth of them, change the height, and you can, add your texture to the different areas. So we can have it on the top, and that'll, wrap around. So the Boolean section here, which allows you to turn the sockets on and off. You have, for these ones, you have both the sort of the socket, but also the right bottom. So you can turn off the buffer and the the whole bit separately. I've not combined those together because it would just add some complication. So one thing you'll notice with these is that they don't have a separate base at the moment, or by default they don't have a separate base. This is because, frankly, in the tile templates that OpenLock provide, they don't have a separate base. So I'm just trying to follow those as closely as possible in the defaults. If you do want to add a base to them, you can do. The only thing I would say is that if you're sort of doing the sort of default, column or wall size, which is 1/2 inch, use a plain base. I'll show you why. So if I make a plain base, oops, idiot. I actually add the plain base on. Then yeah, it all displays correctly. But if I add a OpenLock base at this size, then it's not going to look right because the base is actually too small for the sockets. I will put in a check for this at some point. So if it's too small, it does actually create a plain base effectively, but I haven't gotten around to doing that, and it's not sort of at the top of my priority list because you can either just choose to make that base plain, or you can just turn all of these off. But if you do want to make a 1 by 1 inch column, then that should be, I think, big enough for a proper OpenLock base. I'm just going to make that textured because it's prettier. Then yeah, the OpenLock base will work as long as it's over 1 inch, sort of in size. Okay, so connecting columns. There they go. On sort of other news, as it were, I'm going to be sort of adopting a kind of a TikTok approach, an alternating approach to developments from now on. So 1 week I'm going to be working on something which is, immediately useful to you guys as users. So a new tile type or material or a feature like that. And then on the off week, as it were, I'm going to be working on stuff which is more fundamental, behind the scenes, and that is going to include things like the asset manager, which are just sort of bigger jobs where there's not a immediate payoff, as it were, for the user. This way, every fortnight, you'll have something sort of new to play with, but I can also make sure I have sort of long blocks of space to work on more complicated features, just for my own sort of, sanity and being able to concentrate on things. Okay, so that's connecting columns for this week. The other thing is that this tile set is going to be the sort of last set of tiles which will be available to everyone for free on GitHub. So from now on, the new tile types will only be available to backers of the Kickstarter or people who purchase it through Gumroad. So if you do want to support the development of MakeTile and you do want to have access to more tiles and you've not backed it on the Kickstarter or bought it off Gumroad, please do so, because that really helps me be able to continue to develop MakeTile, and also means that I can eat. And eating is generally good. Right, so that's everything for this week. Bye for now.